Hi, this is Darren from ALO Upholstery and Interiors. Today I'm going to show you how to make this headboard.
So this is the wing. I cut it 10.5 inch side to side from the bottom part. Going up, there's a slope, and I cut it 7 inches on top part here by 62 inch height. This piece of the wood here I cut 2 inches width by 62 inch height, and the headboard piece I cut 74.5 inches side to side by 48 inch height. And this is the other side of the wing. So usually I would put it right here, the same thickness as the headboard I'm using, but because I'm covering the existing headboard, I have to hide it, so I'm pushing it to 3.25 inch deeper. So right now I'm marking 3.25 inch.
Right now I'm using 1.25 inch screws.
So once I put it in, it'll be pretty much like this.
So now that I'm done marking it, the measurement is 11 inch top to bottom by 9 inch side to side. And I already done one side, so after this I'm going to do the other side.
So I'll be using a 3/8 of an inch drill bit to drill the hole.
So once I put the wing on top of the fabric, I marked around 1/2 inch all around for the sewing to be sewn.
And the thickness of the band, top band, will be 2 inch, so allow 1/2 inch both sides. There'll be 3 inch cut.
Now I'm using 2 inch firm foam. Now I'm cutting 1.25 inches off the foam so I could fit the wing on.
Now I'm just going to use the 16 inch needle like this and a marker like this to poke into the hole and mark it on the foam.
Now I'll be using a 1.25 diameter to drill the foam out.
Now cut a little line going down so you can fit the material in it. You can either use a knife like this to cut the foam straight down if you can, but I'm just going to use the machine here. So now I'll be using a thin layer of fiber.
So right now I'm just thinning off the edge for the other piece to go on top of this.
So the reason why I've overlapped it like this, one coming underneath and the other one going over about 3 to 4 inches is because when I start doing the tufting, right, the fiber will eventually pull outwards when I push it, and then once it pushes outwards, it'll pretty much land in the spot where it's supposed to be joined. So if you put it even right now and then you put the tufting buttons on, it'll only open up more and you're gonna see the little line. So that's why I like to overlap it. So now I'll be using a 16-inch needle like this with a 3/4 inch button with a 2-pound nylon string. So on the wrong side of the fabric, you want to mark a line like this going horizontal and a center point like this, so it helps guide you when you're putting the buttons on. Now you want to follow the line that you marked going across. Personally, for me, I like to go halfway first and then go from the bottom or from the top, either or, but I go halfway. After that, you want to look at the lines once you pull the buttons here, looking at here at the grain. So once you're done putting the side to side buttons in, you want to follow the line going from the middle here, try to get it where the hole is from the point where you push the button in. So once you do that, balance the pleats from this side and this side. If you don't follow this part in the middle, you go crooked here, you pull it off here, this side becomes more tight and this one becomes more loose. So that's why the pleats aren't balanced. So make sure you try to follow the middle of the material here. Once you get that one in here already, you want to play with the other ones because it'll be easier to pull and look at it and judge it by the line. If you pull this down now first, you're going to be trying to pull the material over here to allow extra. It gets too complicated. So try to play with all the buttons down first. For example, I already made this button here, but I didn't staple it yet. I'm just going to leave it. So this one, I'll do the same thing like this one. Push the button in, and then leave it, and start the other one again, and leave it. So once I'm done this, I'm going to show you an example, okay? If I staple this now, and then now you try working on this side here, I'm going to have some more trouble trying to play with this going straight, and plus I'm going to try to push the fabric coming this way to help it go lined up. See, it gets a little bit more tricky. So the best way is pretty much don't staple this yet, play with all the bottom line first, and then staple it down. So once you're done doing that part, that's the main thing. The first part was the trickiest here. Once you're done that, you want to play with the pleats. So you want to make sure the pleat goes downwards, only because when you stand it up, the dust will fall down. It won't collect it. If you put it the opposite way, the dust will sit on it and it'll collect too much dust. So make sure the brush goes downwards. Make sure the line is still going straight. So you want to overlap this part going over. So I've actually stapled this on the foam here, so it pushes the foam down more for the edge. So when I do pull the material on, I don't have to put so much strength on it, and then the pleats will actually stay in place.
Now I'm using 1-inch firm foam. Now I'll be using 1/2-inch firm foam.
I'm just flipping the seam on inside like this here, inside here, flat with the front.
So now I'm just putting a few staples to lock the material in place, and then I'm gonna remove it.
Now when you're pulling it, make sure you feel this part being even with both sides, and look at the grain of the material this way. So you look at the grain, trying to follow it straight, and staple on the side here.
So once you're done it, you want to make sure the band runs straight like this.
So this type of frame I did, usually this should be even with the back, but in this case, this is what they needed, and that's why I did it this way.
So this is how the finished product looks.
Thanks for watching, and if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.